Hello everyone, I will explain 5 technical questions from the CCNA exam. Let's look at the first question. The first question asks us to look at this diagram. If the G0, one interface on SW2 is configured as trunk mode, then on S1, which exact command must we execute on this interface to ensure proper trunking? That is, in order to make this interface passively become trunk mode, to let it passively become trunk mode, it must specifically be the dynamic passive mode, but the others are not. This one here is, this is a layer 2 tunnel, and this is the active mode, and this one is the interference mode, right? And then this interface mode is the interference mode. Only these two are auto negotiation. These two are negotiation, and then we choose this passive mode. For this question, this active mode is incorrect, so it doesn't meet the requirements. So the correct answer to this question is A. All right, let's look at the second question. The second question is also an illustration. It says that the diagram shows the entire contents of the MAC address table right here. It displays the complete MAC address table, which is for this switch. So what is this exactly? This is the switch for the sales department as a whole, and the sales 1, sales 2, sales 3, and sales 4. It asks, when sales 4 tries to access someone, who is it accessing? When sales 4 attempts to access sales 1 on the network, what specific operation will the network switch perform on the data frame that is sent from sales 4 during this communication process? In other words, what exactly will the switch do in this particular situation, and how does it handle the data frame? Essentially, the switch will take the interface through which the frame arrives and map it to the source MAC address found in the frame. This means the switch updates its MAC address table to associate the source address of sales 4 with the port it came in on, ensuring efficient delivery of future frames. This mapping process is fundamental to how switches learn and forward data within a local area network. And add both the source address and the corresponding interface to the MAC address table. It is called adding to the COM table, which means adding it to the MAC address table. So the correct answer to this question is B. Let's look at the correct answer. Yes, it's B. The third question is also based on that diagram. Actually, several of these questions come with diagrams. This question is actually quite simple. It says, referring to the diagram, what must the engineer configure the GON1 interface of this switch? And what should it be configured as? Is to make it capable of handling both voice traffic and regular data traffic. So both of these things can let this G0 11 port adapt itself, right? So how should we configure it? Let's look at this configuration. Option A, interface GON 1, right? Enter this interface, then set the interface mode and configure it as access mode. This is access mode. And then this connect here, there should be comma here. This is the second sentence, and this is also separate. The first and second lines, the third configuration is this. It allows VLAN 300. Who is VLAN 300? Data, right? Data traffic, then allow this traffic, and then configure a VLS 400 to allow this VLAN 400, which allows voice traffic. This is correct. The correct answer is this. Right? And then the ones after this have a lot of mistakes. Look, this one allows VLAN 300 and then goes to 400, which is wrong, right? Then it allows this VLS 300, but that's wrong. The VLS should be 400 as written here. And this one is also wrong. Then the one below is trunk, allowing 300. But between our switch and the terminal, this interface shouldn't be configured as trunk. Okay, these are all wrong. Only A is correct. All right, next question. Finally, there are no more diagrams. For this question, it says the engineer must add an older switch, that is an older switch into this network to add it into this network. So what kind of situation will occur when adding it into this network? That is to say, it's possible that this old switch of mine might actually synchronize the VLANs from other switches on the network, right? This old switch, for example, might have VLAN 50 and VLAN 60 configured on it. And since it's an old switch, it's gone through many changes over time. So its revision number, the VTP revision number could be quite high, maybe even dozens or more, right? Then in my network, all the switches are newly deployed, and maybe they only have VLAN 10 and 20 on them. But because my VTP revision number is too low, right? The old switch's revision number is higher, so it will overwrite mine. And VLAN 10 and 20 will be replaced with 50 and 60. As a result, our network will go down, right? So to avoid this kind of situation, right? So we choose A. Option A says to add it to the VTP domain. And also, what else? Let's see, change or modify its revision number. Option. All right, now question 5. For question 5, let me take a look. Question 5, single choice question. Which technology can prevent a client from arbitrarily connecting to our network without first undergoing remediation? Well, this is 802.1x, which is network access authentication, right? There's also portal authentication and also MAC authentication. Basically, when a user connects, when you plug into my switch, you can't access the network right away. Instead, you have to go through 802.1x. This protocol sends your user request via Radius to the Radius server, and then the server sends back an authentication response. Only then does the port change to, then you get authorized the user is granted access. So the correct answer to this question is B. Let's look at the correct answer. It's B. All right, so it was supposed to be 5 questions, but I ended up picking 6. So let's look at the next question. Question 6. For this 6th question, it says the access point is this. So which protocol is used? Specifically, which protocol does the access point use to obtain what from the access switch? This power refers to obtaining electrical power. And we all know about PoE. PoE stands for Power over Ethernet, which is this protocol. But this protocol isn't among the options here, right? Since it's not there, we choose option B. That is, you obtain through this switch, your camera or surveillance device gets power via the switch. This switch is a PoE switch. And to get power through it, the devices need to discover each other first, right? So that's done through Cisco discovery protocol, right? But this one isn't it? This is neighbor discovery, which is using IPv6, right? IGMP isn't the answer either. So for this question, we choose B. Let's check the correct answer and submit. Alright, if anyone wants to learn Cisco technologies or get Cisco exam questions or access the question bank, please send me a private message. You can also leave a comment below the video for technical discussions.